We've seen a rise in burglaries across Lincoln in the last 3 or 4 months. Since the 1st of May, there's been 168 house burglaries in Lincoln. What we've seen through looking at the figures is the vast majority of them involve somebody leaving a door or a window open. Somebody will then go into the house, have a very, very quick search. They'll be in and out in less than a minute. And primarily we're seeing mobile phones, laptops, maybe handbags stolen. So the days of somebody forcing entry to your premises and rummaging around to look for jewellery are gone. This is opportunistic crime. This is people leaving tablets in full view next to an open window, and of course somebody can reach in and take it, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, looking at the figures and the crimes that have come in, every single crime has an impact on the person, so their property stolen. What we're saying to people, and this is the point of the campaign, is if you help yourself, you will be able to make your chances of being a victim of burglary massively smaller than they are if you leave windows and doors open. I believe that if people kept ground floor windows shut, kept doors locked, particularly when they're in bed upstairs, we would see burglary in Lincoln drop by probably 3/4 of the levels we are currently experiencing. The key issue is, let's be honest, we all get menus for pizzas and everything else thrown through our door and they go straight into the bin. So there's no point in us leafleting everybody. We've just said that's what I call pizza box publicity. What we're doing is we have officers that we are dedicating to patrol the main areas where we're seeing the high burglary rates. At the moment, it tends to be the West End area and Sincil Bank areas. That's where we're seeing the bulk of these crimes. So the officers are going out there at the time when we know the burglars are about. If we see an insecurity, we're going to be putting a leaflet either through that window or through that door. So when the householder comes back and sees that we have seen we could get into that premises, just to try and get that link to the fact that anybody else could. And this is what we're trying to hammer home. We tend to see that the same sort of people will do this. The students are a classic example because they live in multiple occupancy houses. They're guaranteed to have laptops and tablets around. And the problem is one person goes out and they automatically assume that somebody else will lock the door or still be in the house behind them. So it's absolutely simple message. Help yourself, and you help yourself by making sure that ground floor windows are kept closed, doors are kept locked, particularly in the fine weather at the moment, because I know it's hot. People leave the windows open, they go up to bed. You have a barbecue in the back garden and you leave your front door unlocked. But I can't emphasise this enough. We know it takes less than 50 seconds for somebody to come in and search the entire ground floor of a house. If you've got your window where somebody can see a laptop on a table, all they have to do is open the door, walk straight in, pick it up, and they will be gone. And they will be gone before you would even be able to react. So this is the thrust of this campaign. We're doing enforcement. We've got a lot of work going around identifying, detecting the people who are responsible. We've already arrested more than 80 different people for burglary offences over the last 4 months. So I'm not looking at a small number, this is opportunistic crime. So the key message is, if you look after your property, if you keep your property secure, you very unlikely that you will get burgled. So this is the education side of things, and it's just really trying to say to people, your chances of getting burgled in Lincoln are still very, very small. You can make them significantly smaller if you take basic security measures and you keep your doors and your windows shut and locked. Look at the West End area. Any places, for example, there where there are high numbers of student houses, they tend to see increased levels of burglary, particularly when the students are here. That's dropped off a little bit because clearly it's the summer holidays and we'll be doing a separate bit of work in September around that. It moved briefly down to the Sincil Bank, Portland Street area. That slowed down a little bit when we obviously had the other incidents with more police officers in the area. And what we're now seeing is it's starting to creep up again, hence why we are very focused on this particular campaign. Interestingly, in Lincoln, the number of foreign national people who have been arrested over the last 3 years is reducing year on year. Honestly, we just do not see a crime issue around the foreign nationals in Lincoln. In fact, coming back to what you alluded to earlier, particularly with the Hermit Street robbery, that incident, as you know, somebody has been charged who is English. Newcomers there, actually, we've noted more of a problem with people who have been moved there from other areas. So although they're newcomers to that area, they've probably moved from other areas of Lincoln, and they're not Eastern European, they're British nationals. It's just a different age group and a different demographic, and I think that's why we've seen a difference. The people that are tended to be arrested for burglary, it's a very even spread. Some people we've never had in custody before, some are relatively well known to us. The frustrating thing is, there are people in the community who know who is committing burglary. There are people in the community who know where the property is going, but they don't tell the police. And bearing in mind the sheer volume, all I'd say is, if people do know something, particularly when a friend or a relative could be one of the people who has been burgled, all I'd say is, why not let us know? Your name's not going to be brought into it, but it just gives us something else to go on, because what I want to do, I want to reduce the numbers, I want to increase the detection rates, but more than anything else, I want the people who are committing this crime, which has a very significant impact on the individuals whose house has been violated. I want those people to be brought before the courts, and I want them to be punished accordingly. It would appear that most of the burglaries have been taken to fuel low-level drug use. So somebody, for example, will get a phone. They'll probably get no more than £40 or £50 maximum for that phone, and what they will then do is they'll use that money to go and buy drugs. And this is probably why we're seeing so many people being arrested. It's not being done to have a kingpin criminal lifestyle. It literally tends to be the recreational drug use which is creating the market. But there's still things people can do around that. If people keep a note of the IMEI number of their phones, if you can do that, what we can do is we can liaise with the phone company, and we can actually track phones, and we get rid of the market. Nobody can buy a phone if it's blocked, and particularly with a lot of the modern phones, where we can track exactly which location it's at. And we have had some success with that. We've had a few people arrested in possession of iPads and other mobile phones, purely because the technology is now there to be able to pinpoint exactly where the offenders are.